We're working to get things going, and boom, we're live. Lieges, attention on deck. Welcome to the Galaxy's Edge podcast. I'm your host, Walt Robillard, and today we are sitting down with series authors Jason Anspach and Nick Cole. Gentlemen, thank you for coming out and taking the time on the Edge.
Thank you for having us, sir.
Oh, yes, always our pleasure. So, before we get started, just as a heads up, this show might contain spoilers. So if you haven't read all the books or consumed all the audio, media, or everything Galaxy's Edge, tread carefully. Make sure to stack up properly and clear those corners before you proceed with the discussion. Today, I am joined by Matthew and Daniel of the Oba Cafe. These two gentlemen are the moderators for the Discord channel for Galaxy's Edge. How are you two doing today?
Mate, I'm fantastic. How you going?
Living like I stole it. Daniel?
I'm doing pretty good. Just getting everything set up.
Nice. And Matthew is calling us from not so sunny Australia right now, where it is dark stupid in the morning. Anything keeping you going this morning?
I wish I had coffee, but nothing. I'm pretty much stuck in the fumes, and it's really bad.
Oh, the poor thing. Daniel, and you're over in Washington, I believe?
Yes, sir. Over in Western Washington.
Nice. So if you want to join the discussion, you can go to discord.gg/6F4M23F or go to Facebook to be a part of the fan community for the Galaxy's Edge Insider Group. Don't forget to go to your source for all things Legion at galacticoutlaws.com. So, boys, give us a quick blurb about the Discord. What's going on over there right now?
All right. So like Walt said, I'm one of the moderators as well as Matt, and basically we just got a whole bunch of channels for everybody to hang out and talk in. We got the main lobby where it's just general chat, gaming and entertainment where we get together and get in groups. So like Xbox has a club called Victory Company, and they're trying to get some gaming stuff set up there. We create a PC Steam group called Legionum Sumus, which is Latin for We Are Legion. Mm-hmm. And we got plans to set up gaming events there. We got a section where we do general sci-fi recommendations for when, we tear through all of the Galaxy's Edge books.
Right.
Just to keep us going. And then let me see what else. We got a book discussion category that Matt set up.
Yep.
And he can talk about that for a bit.
All your side stuff, Order of Centurion, contracts and terminations, and they're all set up too. So when if people want to talk about them in private, we can set up permissions so there's no spoilers, which is even better.
And I lurk and hang out. I think it's fun. I don't say anything, but I do like to.
We do have a channel for general banter as well. It can get pretty fun in there sometimes too, but it's very
Yeah, I like that one. It's a lot of fun.
Just to make sure your kids aren't looking over your shoulder. That's
right on.
Right.
Yeah, especially at some of the memes in the meme category.
Mm-hmm. Yes, don't have children. That's the first rule. If the Legion wanted you to have children, they would have issued you children.
Nice. That same thing could be said about my feelings. So, Jason, Nick, how about a quick blurb about what's going on and new and shiny in the Galaxy's Edge?
It's a weird situation because when we first started this, as soon as we had something done, we got it edited and proofed, and it was right out for public consumption. Right now, we've got, 4 titles that are finished and with Audible for production. And we've got another one that just went to editing yesterday. So we've got a lot of stuff that's done that we'd like to release, and we can't.
Yeah, literally we're sitting like on a mountain of content, and that's the problem that happens when you partner up with a bigger corporation. But it's not bad. You get a bigger reach and everything like that. So
sure.
Fear not, you are getting a mountain of content. The fun part is Jason and I are literally in the throes of planning season 2 and wrapping up Savage Wars 3. So there's a lot of like, we've been doing super asymmetrical voodoo, and I think people are going to like it.
Straight out of the Quantum Palace.
Straight out of the Quantum Palace.
Right on. Right
Yeah,
on.
buddy.
So the insiders have been getting a slew. It's almost like Christmas right now as far
Yeah.
as some of the betas coming out.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Savage Wars and Karen Travis's
Best of Us.
debut into the series, yes, was fantastic. But I was giggling a little bit when I got to the latest contracts and terminations, and my friend Balder appeared in there. Where did he go? Little bastard. He's running around here somewhere, probably trying to mess with a cat. And then my wife was reading over my shoulder when I was giggling about this, and starts reading about Puncher, his handler. And she's like, that better not be you, because if you were screwing with hookers in your side time in the military, we're gonna have a long discussion. And my wife was a military police soldier, so I have to be careful. She's really good with cuffs and tasers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Puncher was more the proverbial. I mean, I named him Puncher because of your sort of side passion. So
Cheers.
But I think Puncher is of lower class. Puncher is the 2 DUI, 2 divorce E3. So yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. So finally, the dog really the subtext was Balder kind of straightens him out, and
Right.
so I did as much research, and I probably got it wrong on the Malinois, which was interesting and fascinating. But I didn't want to just make them dogs. We didn't want to just make them dogs. We gave them this like suddenly Jedi purpose to the galaxy.
Oh,
Which
it's so cool.
Kind of be fun. Like they're not just dogs. They got a religion.
Yeah, right.
And I thought the premise for how they developed was very interesting.
Yeah, something on that planet transformed them.
Yes.
So it'll be cool if we can get into what happened. It would be, I don't know, it'd be kind of cool to write a Watership Down meets Galaxy's Edge, but with Malinois.
There you go.
Oh my God, that would.
Yeah. It would either be the greatest book ever, or someone would be like, I read Imperator and I just want to ask, how much acid do you guys take?
Right. Yeah.
It's not acid, it's tactical acid.
It's funny too, because about a month after we got Balder was a rescue. He was confiscated from the owner because he kept scaling the 8-foot wall and roaming around the city. So about a month after we got him, my wife is throwing rocks at the bedroom window, because I sleep during the day, I work at night, and I run outside to see what's going on, and the dog is in the tree. Like 15 feet up in a tree.
Yeah.
And so, and I used to work a dog for the military, so I run up there and I grab him, I put him in a 4-paws carry, and I start running down the ladder again, and he's pissed. Does not like to be picked up.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, we're gonna have to do something about this, because this is going to get weird fast. And the next day he chased a squirrel up that tree, and he made the 8-foot jump to the roof. So now that he knew he could do it, he was going to do it all the time. So I had to teach him how to climb a ladder.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, that's the comment that comes out about those dogs is they fly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it was a fun character to write. I'm glad he's with the crew now. It's kind of weird if you think about Rex. He has no humans in his life, but he does have a dog and 3 killer robots.
That targeting robot, the battlefield robot.
Oh yeah, that thing. Yeah,
Right.
He was awesome.
Yeah, he came into his own for this one. But if you listen, like what was it? Requiem for Medusa just came out with Ray Porter, and his G232 is just gold.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you just like, it's just so much fun to listen to that voice. Yeah. So yeah, we're having fun.
Right on. Now, how was the collaboration with Karen Travis? Can you talk a little bit about that?
I would say it's less of a collaboration and more of a partnership. All we really had to do with her was tell her what our mindset was, what the prehistory was for the era she wrote in, which is, right before faster than light technology is discovered. And other than that, she was on her own. So she's not a collaborator unless it's a comic book. She's not a collaborator, and she made that clear
Not
right
a
from the
team
get-go.
player.
Yeah, no, Karen is
Very
not a
much
team player.
like if Jack Bauer were a diminutive little British woman who was both plucky and adventurous, that would be Karen Travis. We actually got to hang out with her in Napa, and that was like, sorry everybody else who was in Napa, that was the best part. Yeah, she is solid
great.
gold. Yeah, she's really fun. Yeah, we're trying to convert her and have her turn her back on her. Sorry, guy in Australia, Matthew. We're trying to have her turn her back on the crown and immigrate. So
Yeah, we're working hard. She's sympathetic.
we need people of her pluck.
Nice.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, is she working on book 2?
Yeah, she is working on book 2. She's also trying to get out the sequel to some series that she has that are still open-ended, but I know that she's been really encouraged by the response that it's gotten from the insiders, and I think she was a little bit unsure when she first started it. Like, are people really going to be interested in my book? And what we told her was, we were getting requests for her by name. That's the big thing. Like, when we first floated the idea of, well, should we get some other voices in Galaxy's Edge? The response was generally yes, and her name was the one that came up like right at the top, ahead of everybody else. And when you read about the way she handles camaraderie and just manhood and liberty and all those things that kind of ring through Galaxy's Edge, like, she just, at the end of the day, she gets it, and that's why she does such a good job. So she's working on book 2. She's excited about where it's going. She's told us a little bit about what's happening, and I think this trilogy is just going to rock the hinges off.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
I got to tell you, the AI steals the show.
Oh yeah.
But it's a dog.
It's true. It's true. But with a very slow start in the beginning, right
Mm-hmm.
with the first 50, 80 pages, but after that, everything just starts knocking down, and it's an amazing ride. Really amazing ride.
I mean, like, I think there's two types of science fiction right now, which is we're in the age of like extreme pulp where everybody is getting straight to the chase as fast as possible. But she comes from the old age and was a big contributor to the Star Wars universe in arguably the best titles. And she was allowed like a certain amount of like slow burn creation, things like that. I mean, she basically creates Republican commando culture for Star Wars. So we said, okay, take your time, develop it. And she was, working in a very nebulous area. But once that story kicks into overdrive, it's really cool. And she's also, there's a battle in there, the battle for Baltimore, that's referenced. And she's actually developing that as a short story that will probably go straight to audiobook, and people will, I think, maybe get to download it for free. So it'll be pretty cool.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Talking about a full cast for that, and so that should be pretty fun.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about audio and the logistics behind bringing something to like a full cast?
Yeah, that's the direction right now that Audible really wants to go, is to the full cast thing. They've actually made a deal with Juilliard to get some of the best new talent out there recording books. But having said that, they have access to like super premium talent. So, because this is an insiders group or whatever, and I'm tired of waiting around for the permission to be told that I can say this. So we'll just say it because it's exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, they're going to get Stephen Lang, who plays the general in Avatar.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yep.
To read Savage Wars.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is amazing.
Yeah. It's supposedly a done deal, like as in it's, like 99% good. But watch, the 1% is going to screw me on this.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to be like Screech from Saved by the Bell.
I have such a man crush on that actor.
Yeah. No, he's great.
Yeah.
It would be really cool. They're talking about trying to make us go to Comic-Con in New York City and hang out with him.
Yes.
And we'll see. I don't know. I don't like leaving California. Jason can go.
You're not a fan. I always have to, right? Like
yeah, Jason has to go everywhere.
Western
yeah, Jason
Washington,
scouts. I just run strategic. I'm a talk guy. Jason, I don't leave the talk for anything.
I go and close the deal. Say, hey, Nick, did you see? I just got a text. We've got a guy in LA that's kind of working the streets, trying to get
Yeah, the script.
more traction going on a Galaxy's Edge movie. Did you? I don't know if you saw his text, but I just got a text that says he's got a
I
meeting with
blocked.
the
I
producer.
blocked it.
You did?
Okay.
All right. So there you go.
I usually just block him. I block everybody.
I know.
I block you.
Legit.
I block you, Jason. I just like
This
if you email me and say I'm going to text you, then I unblock you.
Right.
No, I didn't get that text. Okay, go ahead. What do you say?
So he's got a meeting with the producer, and he wants you to go with him. So there's another insider exclusive right there. You get to go have lunch with producers.
Didn't I just cover and not leave the talk?
Well, it's gonna be in LA. It's gonna be in your neck of the woods. It's not a.
I gotta get
here.
I gotta get in the car. I gotta go places.
You've got a driver.
But what if there are donuts involved?
Oh, then I'll go.
Probably
Yeah,
would
sure.
be. I'll just tell him.
All right, so
Get a writer. So
donuts for him for wherever we want him to go.
Yeah.
That's right. That's just it. It's like Wimpy and hamburgers. Like you just leave donuts out, and then Nick will slowly come out of the house. And if you have enough, you can lead him anywhere.
A pentagram, coffee, and donuts, and you can summon me.
Nice. Nice. And back to the Savage Wars. I gotta say that one of the most pivotal scenes in that, I had goosebumps for days when a certain colonel reveals that he is not exactly a colonel.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that scene? Because like I said, that scene just and just a reminder to everybody, big spoilers. So in Savage Wars, there is a scene. If you guys can go ahead and talk about that.
Jason.
Yeah, well, it's funny. What Walt's talking about is there's a colonel that shows up, and he's a take charge kind of guy, and you realize eventually that he's actually Tyrus Rex. It's the big spoiler. And the funny thing is, I think that thread, we were worried it was too obvious, weren't we? Like we were worried that people were going to realize.
They were the whole time like, how are people not they're gonna like and you would have to write it and like cross out Rex's name. Mm-hmm. Like I think initially we wrote our sections with Rex's name, and then we replaced his name. You know, or like, oh, there was a device we used too where we just kept calling him the Colonel. The Colonel. But there was a big reason for that, in that like we had to show the reason for the Legion and why it develops. And the truth of it is Tyrus Rex is an incredibly capable person because he's a Ranger, and he's decided that he will deal with the Savages on his own by basically just trigger nuking every planet he can find them on, which is great. It's the great scorched earth thing. It doesn't help out the population of the galaxy, and so he had to come to a sort of, his best friend had to tell him like, listen, you got to try this once working with humanity, and it basically goes horribly wrong, and shows Rex like, yeah, I was right, and then now he's going to complete his mission. But then in doing the course of that mission, he figured, but he has to reveal, oh yeah, I'm Tyrus Rex. And like, you'll understand when you read that section that he's not the Tyrus Rex you think of as like, hey, he's the general of the Legion, he's this awesome bounty hunter and everything like that. The galaxy at that time sees him as a war criminal, as kind of a mass murderer. So he's not well liked. And that was the fun. Yeah,
exactly.
I think one of the things that my reading of it, when he encounters the sniper and sees how dedicated and driven this man is to revenge, not because he hates, but because he loved his wife. I had like, oh my God, so many goosebumps. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this is amazing. And to have somebody who's just like, I just need one more round. I have to spend one more round. Have that
I created that character, so I'll take full. I based the character on Jason, because if Jason's family was taken away, that's who he would become. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about that in those dark existential hours, like you're sitting there 2 a.m.
I knew it.
Up,
the first thing he did with his Galaxy's Edge money is start buying like a super rifle, and I'm like, oh, this is Jason. I mean, he didn't buy the Fat Mac, which is what that rifle is. But,
right.
Yeah.
So
you know what we call those rifles once you get out of the military? We call those divorce guns.
Well, see, it's not that one. It's technically a pistol, so that I wouldn't have to fill in a stamp card. But it has some modifications.
Right on. Yeah, I have a divorce gun. So yeah, yeah.
Well, there's you said you might know you got to read Lone Operator.
I did.
Okay, and when you sent, I think I know who it is.
And for those insiders who don't have that track, can you talk about Lone Operator a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, we should talk about it a little bit. The thing I was going to mention in that is you're probably right in who you think the Lone Operator guy is. And, he's a big member in the SF community and an instructor and everything like that. So we're in the early stages of actually developing. What is that company, Jason?
It's a Bravo company, BCM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's helping us develop a Galaxy's Edge N4 that people will be able to buy. So
an actual functional firearm?
Yes.
A functional firearm. Yeah. So the idea was, to put together a rifle that has like the tie-in, but still a functional, like,
but it's not a gimmick
will want to purchase.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But this guy teaches a lot of sniper training, so you can tell he's competent. So if it were up to me, it would have like sparkly shit and
LEDs.
overcompensated.
Yeah, LEDs.
Yeah, exactly.
It would have a completely useless laser. It'd probably have a donut holder. No, yeah. So no,
it just spins, right? A little fidget spinner attached to the side.
So not only would you have to worry about your cheek to Stockwell placement, but also your mouth to donut holder placement as well. So it would have to.
Mine has a sippy straw, so that your eye never has to leave.
Oh my goodness!
You just sit there.
Just take a second magazine.
Yeah. So speaking of divorce guns, Lone Operator guys going that way. Yeah, but let's talk about Lone Operator. You liked it?
I did.
I mean, it's going through editing and things like that, but I think it's an incredibly technical book that moves away from the pulp and the fun to something that I think people who've served, people who have a passion for the military, they're going to dig this on a whole new level. Yeah.
And the thing I noticed most about reading Lone Operator was that this guy was very on point with his military terminology, the way that military tactics and techniques are used. So that came across very vividly in the book.
Yeah, people are getting tired of my movement to contact and attack on a fixed position, which is like every battle for me. Like maybe I throw in a raid, maybe I throw in some fire support, but yeah, I'm running out of tricks, people.
when in the book when he's talking about how to zero a rifle, and he does that over the course of like 3 pages, I was like, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Because most authors would have only covered something like that in maybe a paragraph, a few, if that. He went into explicit detail.
Yeah, most authors would have told you about swapping out the clip on their revolver.
Yeah, right.
Or the safety on the Glock.
True.
Yeah, the safety on the Glock. Exactly.
Put that Glock on safe.
Yeah, they would have written about how they endlessly shot 300 people with their kill weapon.
Yeah.
So we lost you on sound.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
You're back.
You muted yourself.
Yeah, I have I have to mute in between
Yeah.
because I have animals and they suck. So could you give us a quick elevator pitch about Lone Operator and what some of the insiders can expect through this title?
I would say that Lone Operator, like I felt when I was reading it, and this guy denies it, but I was like, I'm reading about this guy's time in Central America destabilizing 2 different countries.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more about a guy moving into dark ops and learning the culture there, that it's a different kind of Legion culture. And also that those kind of soldiers operate independently and are tasked with sometimes very large budgets to accomplish sometimes shadowy things that need to happen. But it's the best way that I can say it's a much more mature book. And I think that it expands into teamwork, as in the kill teams in books 2 and 3. But book 1 is sort of like an examination of what it's like to be a dark operator from a guy who was an SF operator in Delta Force, and his time, doing things that are what you call in the culture unrated or off book or things like that. And he would say, no, it was none of that and everything like that. But like for me, I was like, golly, this is like reading a memoir. And he's like, no, I didn't do that. And I'm like, well, you told me that one story. No. So I think it's just, and that's, I think that's kind of, it's not just him. Like there have been people that have shared their military experiences with us, and they've ended up in the books, and like there you go. There's Balder there, he's in the book.
Mm-hmm.
We have a guy who's a medic that is basically in a certain way one of the major character stories and things like that. Mm-hmm. So Chuck Palahniuk said after 4 books he was out of ideas, and I'm not saying that's not totally true. I have a lot of ideas. Jason has a lot of ideas, but you do when you get to interact with readers, and especially guys who have served or anybody, you learn some interesting stories, and you think about those, and whether you like it or not, those end up, and that's why it's fun to have like the Oba Cafe or this or the Insiders or the various pages we have, or even the fan club that's run by J.R. Handley, who wrote The Reservist. Like people just get in there and they work things out, and they have a lot of fun like vets do, and they're vulgar, and then they talk about some jacked up shit that's going on in their lives, and you're like, great, I'm gonna put that in a book and I don't have to work as hard. No, but like it's not as mercenary as that. It's like, like those are meaningful stories. Or people will share things like about the guy John Chapman who just got his Medal of Honor and stuff like that, and I think I based a little bit of the Dragon on his incident and things like that. So it's just it's a great culture where people's stories actually get to inform the whole thing, instead of us making up stuff and blue-haired female admirals destroying entire fleet. Oh, he went there.
It's still fresh. It's still fresh.
Still burns.
If you don't mind, if we could do a couple questions from our moderators from Discord. Matthew, Daniel, would you like to throw out some questions?
Matt, you go first.
Yeah, I'll ask this one obvious one, and it's the most cliche question of all time, mate. Any major Australian stuff coming up in any of the Galaxy's Edge stuff?
Like, how do you put, like, without doing the American version and just making like a Crocodile Dundee version? Because that's we still think of you guys as big knives and koalas on your backs.
The drop bears and all that sort of gear.
So no, I'll tell you what, we're just talking today about game planning the rest of Takeover and then the 3rd book in Savage Wars. So you tell me what would make the Aussie Galaxy's Edge readers proud, and we'll find a way to work.
Oh, nice. What is that? Oh, so much stuff, mate. So much.
The character I like is Mac Raven, who was a sergeant major.
Yes.
And, yeah, he was really awesome, and I wanted to play around with him a little bit, and I very much see him in sort of like something happening to him that's very much like Rourke's Drift, which is what a certain British Army fought, and I feel like that would be a great place to bring in some sort of like some Australian characters, some of those kind of guys with bushcraft and things like that. So I feel like you could see that. Yeah. McRaven goes to Space Rourke's Drift with Aussie Bushmen.
I would read that shit all day long.
I'm sure Matt could help you proofread that.
That'd be so good.
Exactly.
How about it, Dan? You got some questions?
What's your views on fanfic and stuff like that?
We both really love the idea of fanfic, and we want to encourage people to do that. Fanfic, fan art, everything along those lines. The trouble is that we live in a society right now with like just jacked up legal ramifications, and so we've heard of peers who have kind of let it go, and then have had similarities in their works, right? And got in trouble, right? At the end of the day, and that's the downside. Like we still have a couple more seasons, and and some people might be guessing where we're going. So we don't want to put ourselves in a situation where someone writes an arc that they kind of read where we were going, and then are able to come back and say, well, hey, this is my idea. And unfortunately, some courts have found that that's totally acceptable, and it's a shame.
But what if they sign like a super ironclad, we get your baby contract?
Yeah, that's okay. Right. Yeah. Like an
You know?
open call, like an open
Yeah.
call or a specified forum, that's okay. And we've had our web guy working on something like that for a while. But as long as those disclaimers are up, right?
Yeah.
Then sky's the limit.
But the truth of it is, and it's the good, like, people have sent us things. Other authors have sent us things early on, and we said no to that because it just wasn't up to par. With the loan operator guy, he was a reader, and he finally cornered me. And again, he's SF, so what was I gonna say? I was gonna say no. You know, he'd a panel friend me. No, and so that is basically, he's doing a 3-book series that is basically fanfic that we saw enough potential in, which we would do with anybody. But it's just like, you like, just like Jason and I did with Legionnaire and every other book that we do, you have to write your thing on faith. Like, there's no guarantee or anything that like anybody's going to like your stuff. And then like, you could put it up on your own. Like, you could just change all the dates, names, and everything like that. And you could actually go into Amazon and make your own book and have a great time. But if you want to put it in Galaxy's Edge and you want to write something, take the time to unofficially do it, develop it, and then be prepared to sign that we get your baby contract. But if it's solid good and Jason can really build that divorce rifle and I can get my next Ferrari, as in we profit off you and you're paying, then of course we're going to do it. It's like, we're doing it with a loan operator. And yeah, I like to think of Karen Travis as my fan. So it's kind of fan fiction too.
Yeah. Never mind that
She's a fan of my personality. I can tell you that.
Right. Yeah. She's a fan now.
Yeah. Her last words to me is, "You are the American Brian Blessed." And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah. One of the ideas that we were popping around in the Discord server was setting up a special role for basically a monthly creator. And we were going to call them the Legion Commander. And if we found, like, the moderators could get together and we could, read some of the fanfic that the fans create and then be like, okay, this person, they did really good. We'll go ahead and give them this role and maybe buy them a month of the Insider subscription so that they can, have a reward for creating and bringing some more stuff to the universe.
Yeah, and if you guys believe in it, we want to know about it, and we're perfectly willing to make that person sign what we get your baby contract.
Yeah,
of course they would get paid and they would make money, but if we saw the potential for it to be successful, yeah, we would want that. We would want to be the pimp to their hoe.
Oh my God, this is like sitting around the table with a bunch of military guys playing cards. We had a question from over on the other side on FaceSpace, and I don't know how serious this is, but when will we get a Deadpool-esque version of KTF me?
We've talked, man. That was just a joke that I was like, okay, what like, most of Masters is just my personality without the breaks. Like, that's Keel and Masters. So it's like everything that's happening behind my eyes that I don't say in polite society, Keel and Masters say for me. But I didn't realize that joke would take off the way it was. In fact, I almost took it out because I thought, oh, this might make some people cringe. But they loved it. And then, like, we made the little fake cover and people love that. And like, we've gotten a fair amount of messages that like, hey, I'll read this. If you go camp and you go full Deadpool, I'll absolutely read this. So it kind of sounds like a challenge. Might be worth accepting.
I think that's the fun of all of this is we can do that stuff and have fun. And we're here to, at the end of the day, we're here to serve you guys. That's a contrary, writer, most writers want everybody to serve them. We are absolutely here to give you guys whatever you want because this is a lot of fun. So you guys make it known, it'll probably happen because Jason is a greedy whore.
All right.
Yeah, you can tell. You can tell.
Well, one question for you then. Is there a way we can get Google to let us search Galaxy's Edge without being bombarded by Star Wars crap?
If there was, we would have done it by now.
Yeah.
I wish that there was a way we could do it.
I'll say this, technically, according to our conversations with Disney, they're only supposed to say Star Wars : Galaxy's Edge. We
That's
own
their
Galaxy's
trademark.
Edge. They don't have Star. Yeah. So we're in ongoing discussions. It'll end badly for them.
All right, cool.
Moab incoming.
Right. Yeah. Our ultimate goal is just to make the sequel trilogy just not exist. Like,
Yeah.
that'll be our, we don't want money. We just want the sequel trilogy to no longer exist.
Yeah.
And let's start over. That's all I
Yeah.
ask.
What I want is for them to acknowledge that what we're writing is actually the beginning of their universe.
Oh,
The real prequels.
Yeah, these are the real. These are like this is the long time ago.
Like before Frieden Nad, before Revan, before all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can't erase that, then you'll just get a whole new group of people upset at you.
Disney right now is watching this, going, "Hold my beer. We can't erase that."
No, Disney probably got lost as soon as we said something like Frieden Nad, right? Like they don't even know their own canon.
The speaking of redos and redone, we just saw amazing artwork, spine-tingling artwork for the redone cover of Galactic Outlaws.
Oh yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So people that were insider subscribers since day one, which was October 2016, I think is the first time we made insiders available. What they knew, which a lot of people don't know, and we'll just kind of pull back the curtain, was Legionnaire and the story that followed those characters was initially going to be a different series from Galactic Outlaws and the stories that followed those characters. And because of that, Legionnaire had one artist and Galactic Outlaws had another. And if you've read the book, it's probably not that hard to figure out, right? Like you read Legionnaire and you're like, oh, okay, yeah. And then Galactic Outlaws takes you in a completely different direction. And then you come back to Kill Team and you're like, oh, all right, we're back here, right? And then you go to Attack of Shadows and you're in a completely different direction again. Well, that was because initially these were going to be two separate series that complemented each other, but took place at two separate timelines. When Legionnaire blew up the way it blew up, and everyone was waiting for a second book, and like we were on the back of the tiger, as Nick likes to say, we had to do something. So we said, all right, well, can we make this gap work in a one book series? Can we tell this like a story of Lost, where we just gave them Victory Company, but now we're going to give you something different, and by the time we get to book 4, book 5, everything's going to come together. And that's what happened. But the result of that was, from a production standpoint, we had one artist working the majority of the covers, 7 of the 9 covers, and we had another artist who had done the covers for Outlaws and Attack of Shadows. So there's an incongruity there, and we finally got to the point where we said, okay, let's get that original artist working on updating the covers so we have a universal look. And the Galactic Outlaws is now doing that, and then Attack of Shadows will follow at some point as well.
And can we talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room? When are we going to get a Hogus and Skriz series?
Right.
Do you want KTF me or Hogus and Skriz?
KTF me.
Yeah, there's a poll right there.
Yep. We'll have to put that up in the Discord. And
yeah, that can be the Discord.
Jason has always wanted to kill Skriz.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny because Nick always brings up how I want to kill Skriz, and it's true. Like after Outlaws, I was like, man, can we kill this thing? Because he just kind of disappeared, got stuck on Keel's crew. We never killed him. Nick has killed Major Owens. He's killed all kinds of people, and he never brings that up. But he always brings up how I wanted to kill Skriz while he's actually killing beloved characters.
Hey, he's
Jason
not
said-
doing it to
Jason
Game of
said
Thrones
I-
levels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jason
right,
says I
right,
don't
totally.
play with the action figures right.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like Nick was like, "Hey, can I play with Major Owens?" And I was like, "Okay, but Major Owens is a little," and it just snapped him right, like 2 seconds, and it snapped him.
So what you're saying is you came out and you had the very big collector's Death Star collector's case for all of your Star Wars action figures, and Nick's the guy who showed up with the salutes and M80s.
Yes.
Nick is that cousin everyone had. Who was like, like just shows up, and you got to play with him because he's your cousin.
Yep.
But then he leaves, and you're just looking at all your broken toys, and mom's not going to buy you a new one.
I like sugar.
So, what is next up? What are we going to see hitting very soon? Can you talk about that?
I think go ahead, Jason.
No, I'm thinking too. So if you've got a good thought, go ahead, because I'm not entirely sure.
The next thing is you will get a cover that's even better than the cover you just saw, I think.
Oh God, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight.
Because you actually get to see a hot alien chick.
Oh, yeah, insiders have seen that. Insiders have seen that.
Oh, did they see? They saw the 10R chick.
Yep, they saw that.
Oh man,
Yep.
That's going to be good. So I think that'll come out next week. Takeover 3. Then you'll get pretty much like all of August is going to be takeover, and then that's going to be wrapped. And then as we understand that, that's actually going to go to RC Bray for recording. So he's going to come. We're told by Audible he's going to come back for the second series, for the second season, and then we're going to roll into 2 projects at once, which is basically we're going to start season 2. But by then you should be getting the Stephen Lang Savage Wars on Audible, which will be flat out awesome. And then we'll be rolling into season 2 of Galaxy's Edge. Jason has some stuff he wants to do, and I'm going to write the River of Darkness. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be McRaven and Desai going on a really crazy journey into this sort of dark side of the galaxy. Not to be confused with Dark Side trademark Star Wars # Galaxy's Edge. Not my series. And no, Jason's going to pick up with all the people I haven't killed, and he's probably going to have to make some new people. Honestly,
yeah, they're a tight little group. They're fine.
They're a tight little group, but they're afraid of me. Then we're getting into Forgotten Ruin, which our game is almost ready to go. We had an awesome play test yesterday with James Ward, which I want to talk to you about that, Walt.
Hit it.
We want to do something with that. And we'll be busting out those novels and getting into that world. But I think basically what I'm trying to say is you're going to get into season 2 sooner than later.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then we've got the Wraith standalone or the Wraith trilogy. That's going to cover how Ford turns into Keel. And a lot of this is going to be flavored by the Savage Wars, which is why we've been reluctant to run out ahead. We're doing the same thing we did with season 1, where what we're writing is building and enriching. And so that's the plan with the books that focus on Wraith. That's the plan with the Savage Wars. It's the plan with Takeover. So that by the time season 2 comes, it's not just a pickup left off.
Rip.
Uh-oh.
Jason's gone. The main thing that Jason was trying to say there.
People keep trying to call me. People keep trying to call me. And it cuts me out every time.
Please continue.
It's gonna pick up. It's gonna really have a lot of layers that you're gonna start seeing with Savage Wars.
If you're paying attention to Takeover, you're getting some huge clues about what season 2 is about. But they're super subtle. They're super subtle. But if you're putting all the math together, it's going someplace that it really has been headed all along. And there's a crazy reveal about one character that no one would suspect. Crazy.
In Savage Wars 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it pays off. And yeah,
in season 2.
I'll just say Ice Squad.
Oh no. I don't know how to recover from that. I actually have I actually have a question from my wife, who has been enjoying the series like shotgun style. She grabs what I leave around the house. And the question was, when are these boys going to get off their ass and write a cool female character? And I said, well, you got the Andy and Broxton book coming up.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think KRS 88 is a pretty cool female character.
What?
That's
he's a gender defining.
He's a gender neutral killbot.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's getting referred to as him.
3-2 is mincing and ladylike. No, we know what you're saying. Yeah. To get into that, that was actually something we wanted to talk with you about. Go ahead, Jason. I probably am not they're restraining orders.
Yeah, there's restraining orders. So yeah, if Prisma or what she's becoming isn't your cup of tea, and Lena, the MCR pacifist who can be aggressive, she's like a pacifist aggressive.
I'm still gonna get a T-shirt that says that.
Yeah, there you go. So if she's not your cup of tea, there was Andy and Broxton who showed up in the early part of the first season, and
there's Prisma, who's like powerful.
Right, I said Prisma.
Oh, did you?
I said her.
Maybe you didn't say enough gravitas.
Enough. Well, Prisma is becoming, right? Like she's left off. Here's my
Lucasian, drop. It's all about Prisma.
Yeah.
What he said about Jar Jar Binks.
Right. Yeah.
Jar Jar Binks.
I don't know how well he delivered on that.
Is it?
The Clone Wars kind of had to pull that off for him.
Yeah.
At any rate, yeah, Andy and Broxton, who's another ops agent, she has a bigger past than that, and so I had a story I wanted to write for a long time, a standalone, and we were talking about, okay, what do you do with that? What do you do when you have a House of Reason that obviously is all about optics, right? How does it make sense that they have a Legion, which is human only and male only, and yet you have the House of Reason being what they are? How do they not fight over that? And so we kind of explore that with the book Forget Nothing, which goes around Andy and Broxton. And I wrote that with someone who was a former Marine, and she's now working for the government. Probably, I think she's killing people. I can't be sure because she can't tell me, but I'm pretty sure she's killing people.
She's either driving the panel van or she's holding the sack.
Well, she sent me enough pics of her full kit and weapons and doing jumps off of planes that would be quite a landing if she was landing in the driver's seat. So I think she's shooting the drivers.
Okay.
So at any rate, so she's writing this book with me, and we actually scored what they call an Audible original members benefit. So if you're an Audible member, you know that each month you get your credit, and then you get to pick two titles out of 6 that are free, and they're normally like 4 or 5 hour titles. Forget Nothing is eventually going to be one of those titles. And we just got the review back from the CIA saying there's no classified material. So that I feel like is a pretty cool little thing to have at the start of any book when they say like.
So you had to talk to the CIA about this book. That in itself is a selling point.
The CIA had to read this book and say, okay, you're not divulging any secrets. So I feel like that's a win in of itself.
And did the CIA actually purchase the rest of the catalog now?
I keep writing the board, and some people have shown up to my house, but I can't see any increase in sales. But at any rate, so that's coming out, and that's going to give you a pretty fierce, strong character. But we wanted to do it in a way that is not just servicing. Hey, I want a badass chick that is just as good as the guys. And so I think that we've come up with a really good way to address physiology, address all the things that are real legit things. The girl I'm writing with, the woman I'm writing with, part of the reason we went with her is when we talked to the guy that Nick was talking about that was in Delta, he said there's 4 women in the world that I would be willing to go into combat with, and she's one of them. So he came with the perspective of there's a high standard, but it's not impossible. What we've done is we've looked at that high standard, we've looked at the toll it takes, and we wanted to tell a story that was not going to diminish her abilities, but also not make her into a superhero. And I think that we pulled it off in some pretty clever ways, but I don't want to spoil it for you. But if you are looking for a Miss Marvel, like a token character that you can be like, right on, you're gonna be disappointed because we went ahead and obeyed physics.
Yeah, I think it's the story that's going to get us in the most trouble because it's and believe me, I have tried to get us in a lot of trouble.
Mhm.
But Jason and David have this tranquilizer dart called editing that
Mhm.
lets me not get away with anything.
Right.
No, I honestly do think it's going to get us in the most trouble with certain groups, but it's an honest, accurate depiction of a real world, sort of issue that's going on, but in the fun of science fiction, which is a great place to talk about things like rational, sane people. So, but I think it's like, that's not important. The important thing is it's going to be fun. And I think you read the first 40,000, right, Walt? Did you? Or
No, I haven't seen it at all.
and then I was going to say
No.
one other thing. Did your wife read Madame Guillotine?
She did.
Because that's got a great female Marine in it.
Yes, and she loved that.
Good.
Loved that Marine. But it's just some context. My wife was a military police soldier, and at one point was serving side by side with the Marines.
Okay.
Because at the time that we were in Iraq, the Marine commander issued a policy that no females on the Marine side were allowed outside the wire.
Mhm.
So you had these really great trained Marines called the Lionesses that were ready to go at any given moment, and they couldn't leave. So they started kidnapping people from army units to serve as like intermediaries between the female population they were interacting with. And she was basically opcon to the Marines for her entire deployment. And her time with the Marines was very informative. And so when she when she when she liked the nickname too, Panda. So when she read Panda, she was very impressed. It was very cool.
Oh, very cool. That was
Right.
that was an homage to that character was based on one of our readers whose wife passed away this year.
Oh, that sucks.
So he asked that we would memorialize her, and we said, of course. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic that you did that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Well,
and that's it's the second person that's happened, right? Because the Alistair character from Order of the Centurion, it was the same way. Readers kind of reach out every once in a while and let us know they're having trouble, and so it's not hard to take a character and name them after someone, and I know our readers are important to us, so if we can help them, we like to help them.
Yep. And we like to get it right, and we like to have everybody have a good time. And your wife is absolutely right. There's more strong women coming, and if she talks about her stories, they'll probably end up there too.
Well, she's one of those people that hates the term strong female character. Yeah. She's like, people can be strong or weak regardless of their gender.
Right.
And her deal is more, can I see a woman who's doing this job because she likes this job?
Yeah. Exactly.
So
my personal experience is that people can be strong or weak in proportion to their proximity to donuts.
Oh shit! I gotta get some donuts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm a very strong man. I can lift a lot of weight. I can work out twice a day, but donuts are my kryptonite.
I gotcha. Yep, it's all about proximity.
Exactly. For me, PC every day with work, and then straight on the beers, and I just lose everything.
Everybody has their kryptonite. So, gentlemen, starting from left to right, I'm going to start with Daniel. Can we give some parting thoughts?
I mean, I look forward to how you guys are going to get the season 2 done. I wasn't sure about Andine Broxton because some people say that she got killed, and some people are like, no, she's still around. But I'm not sure where that's going to go.
Yeah, we've only seen the robot body.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, and this is just to give you an idea. This is before Nether Ops.
That's why I figured.
Legionnaire. Yeah, this is a prequel.
Yeah, I killed Andine.
Okay, you did. All right.
That
Just send him
was
chat.
Nick's second.
No, I mean, I killed. My opinion is that it was actually a bot that the sidebar had made. Now, did they kill her in the making of it? I don't know. We'll find out. But I just wanted to get credit for the kill.
All right.
It's not, I don't need to talk much, but when I do, someone's gonna.
But yeah,
talk.
you guys are doing great, and we look forward to see what else you guys got. Go ahead.
Jason, you're next.
I'm next. All right. Yeah. So then to get on Forget Nothing. Yeah, it's a prequel. And if you're an insider, really all we're waiting on, because that book is done. It's with Audible right now. I'm just waiting to get an updated cover for it, which is maybe a little vain. But if you want it, we can send it out. Like, I guess it's kind of one of those questions about, do you have something to read? Do you want to read Forget Nothing right now? It's an Audible original, so it's only about 45,000 words, which translates to 4.5 hours on audio. But it's ready to go. Like, I could go back into the house and I could send it to all the insiders within minutes if people actually want it.
Yes,
Another poll we can. Another poll. Matthew.
I think it's no brainer. I think they want it, and I think that the people who have joined the insiders group have absolutely, they get everything that they want, because the insiders, like, the group formed out of it's kind of like Walt Disney. Oh no, here Jason's gonna correct me on the trivia. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah,
but
it's like, well,
when Walt Disney,
Cliff Clavin of the group.
Yeah, when Walt Disney opened Disneyland, there were only 33 people who believed in him. That's Club 33, and that's, for us, that's the insiders. There was only a handful of people that said, yeah, we believe in this, and they started giving us money to give them content ahead of everybody else. So if they want it, they get it. I'd probably show up with 2 sacks of lime for an insider.
Yep, they want it, they get it, unless it's ebooks before audiobooks. Sorry. Contract.
Yeah.
Well, we have been pushing the insider subscription on the Discord server, at least to get more people in. So,
yeah, please.
The way I see it is, it's your guys' Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
Jason
can't shut us down.
Jason has 7 kids. We need everything. I need half of everything that you can send him.
Yeah, that's right.
Matthew, parting thoughts.
Every time I see a post in the insiders group in regards to new stuff coming up, I become the biggest little kid you'll ever see in your life, mate. So I'm absolutely loving everything that's coming out, everything that you're doing. And on a personal note, thank you for putting me in Savage Wars, by the way.
Yes.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Glad that you liked it. When I initially put an insider named Scott Washam, and he was like a point, he messaged us to say how sorrowful he was to be named a point. And I was like, hey, I've got plans for this name, and obviously he became the Wash character. But it's like, sometimes you put someone in and they get a big role because you need the name for that character, and sometimes you put someone in and it's like, well, this guy's dead, and that's the end of it. So we're glad you liked your appearance.
I couldn't complain too much. I went from being 1 Chevron pleb at the moment to a colonel, so that was pretty much an early promotion for me. I got very excited.
There you go.
Thanks, guys.
Right on. Nick, parting thoughts. And by the way, somebody wants to say hi.
Hey, Balder! I made you famous, buddy. He's a good boy. He looks tired.
He's been chasing a cat. So after the show, we're going out for a 4-mile run.
My wife reads all the books that we write, and when we got to the Balder part in the final firefight, and right after KTF losers, which is great, which I had to change because there's another phrase we're not allowed to use. But she said, I got weepy when the dog just comes screaming out of nowhere and tackles the guy who's about to shoot Tyrus Rex and does it twice. And, like that Balder made my day and made my wife happy. So I want to just let everybody know I'm completely here for you, but only on Tuesdays. But we're doing some new things, and we're going to start giving you guys things to talk about and share. And we'd like you to partner with us in pushing Galaxy's Edge to the next level. Like, I got to go meet with this movie producer Anybody who reels in James Brolin for Tyrus Rex, I will buy you that gun from BM.
Yeah, right.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, you get that guy to like hashtag Galaxy's Edge or say I'm interested in this script, and you get production model number 1, and that's recorded.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge
Right.
accepted. Yeah, and Jason knows I live up to my word on Tuesdays.
Yeah, it takes a week to come around, but when it comes around, baby.
Yeah, when that check comes around, it clears sometimes. No, I honestly mean that, Jason. And we, you will get production model number 1. You get Josh Brolin to retweet Galaxy's Edge and say he would be interested in looking at the script. You get it. So we're all partners.
Oh, here, God, I'm gonna have to take a couple of nights off from work.
James Brolin.
Right.
All right, Walt.
Yeah. Well, I get the parting shot anyway. So I mean, that's good to hook. I just wanted to thank everybody for coming out today. It's always great to interact with fans, but at the same time, a lot of properties don't often allow you to access to the creators, and to have you guys as open and accessible as you have been since the start of this thing has just been amazing. And I talked to a lot of people who are fans of this series, and they are constantly very grateful of the fact that you guys have been not only very forthcoming with what you're doing, but also how appreciative you are of your fans as well. And we just can't thank you enough for taking all of us who were kicked out of our favorite franchise and giving us something to love again. And that is just amazing. So thank you very much for doing that.
It's our
Yeah,
pleasure.
man. We
guys
were kicked out too. I'm still bitter over it.
So on behalf of Daniel and Matthew, this has been the Galaxy's Edge podcast. I guess is this series 3, series 2? We'll figure it out in post. We'll make some fun cards up or something. And then thank you so much, Jason and Nick, for coming out and spending an hour with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Shaka.
Thank you, guys. It's good talking to you.
All right, KTF, and we're out.